Hello, and welcome to Charter's Local Edition. I'm your host, Lori Farkas. We're here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, talking to lawmakers about issues that are important to you. And joining us now is Secretary of State Ed Murray. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Lori.
Really appreciate having you. Well, let's dive right into it. Let's talk a little bit about some of the issues that you feel that are most pressing to Wyoming right now.
Well, certainly we have numerous challenges facing Wyoming, but with challenges come opportunities. With the budget, we see the shortfalls. We see the necessity of coming up with a plan, in my opinion, a meaningful plan that will provide a path out of this boom-bust cycles that we've experienced. And I believe strongly that there is a solution for that has to do with entrepreneurial ecosystem and letting business chart the way, so to speak, and you know, economic development.
Well, you ran your campaign as a businessman running for that office, and you've really helped streamline some of that process of helping young businesses grow. Talk a little bit about the LLC process and some of the things your office handles.
Well, thank you. You know, it's true. My slogan at the time was Murray Means Business.
I remember.
And we went into office, and I was shocked to see that coming from the private sector and understanding the importance of delivering an exceptional service and an excellent product. Otherwise, you go out of business.
Yeah.
And to not be able to do that at the government level is not acceptable. And so I've spent the first 2 years coming into the electronic age.
Yeah.
And we've gone from receiving truckloads of paperwork every day. And our poor registers 2 years ago, they were just literally getting buried, and the morale was down, the turnover was high, and we've turned that totally around. And you can now do in 20 minutes electronically what used to take upwards of 5-10 business days.
Yeah, you've got a great website. You might give that web address to the folks at home in that camera, because if you're thinking about starting a new business and you want to go through that process, it's all there on your website.
Yeah, and it is. It's Secretary of State, Wyoming Secretary of State, and it is an incredible opportunity now to do business at the pace and at the rate that businessmen and women do it. And that's just one of numerous things that we've been able to do in the Office of Secretary of State. We're fighting fraud.
Yes.
You know,
I've got that on my list.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I've
okay,
got that
check
on my
it.
list.
Well, let's talk about that if you
Yeah,
want.
for
You know,
sure.
with the Panama paper bombshell that came out in April of 2016, and the revelation that, you know, some Panamanian law firm was creating these shell entities in and around the globe. We led the nation in our response to that, and I'm very pleased to report that now, as a result of the leadership role we took, along with a couple other states, Delaware and Nevada, in February of this year, just in a month, I'll be back in Washington, D.C. to lead that effort in the federal response to that situation and keep our states free. It's our objective and our hope that we will remain free from another layer of bureaucratic red tape and federal mandate.
Now, for folks at home that may not understand what that issue was, can you tell them a little bit about why that was so scary and detrimental?
Yeah, sure. You know, bottom line is we're all in the business to fight fraud, terrorism, crime. And so there had been a Panamanian law firm, Massa Fonseca, that had created a number of these entities around the globe for plutocrats, crime bosses, dictators. And so the key in the solution is to have a careful balance of fighting frauds hard, but then being business friendly and protective of the 99% good businessmen and women, being business friendly and protecting their privacy. And Wyoming That's what I'm going to fight hard for, is to make sure that Wyoming, that we're not sitting here at the direction of the feds collecting all this underlying beneficial ownership, real private information.
You're out in front of it.
Yeah, and the feds already have a solution in just being able to, if they just knew what the left hand and the right hand were doing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, on that same token, a little bit different type of fraud, but talk a little bit about voter fraud. We did have a little bit here, what, 27 cases?
Well, yes and no. And just by way of background, we had a record voter turnout in the state of Wyoming.
Huge.
And it was remarkable. Over 258,000 people in Wyoming cast their vote. It was an all-time record turnout. Now, we were very, very, very concerned from the outset of any hacking, any voter fraud, and we were cross-checking for citizenship, for felon status, making sure that deceased persons weren't voting. And in the end, on the election day, because Wyoming is unique among the country, well, there's 6 other states that allow for the same day voter registration. In after election day reporting, there has been some reconciling that has revealed some cases of possible voter fraud. I had a visit with the district attorney's office yesterday because we're going to pursue these to the fullest extent of the law too. And the investigation is ongoing.
Send a strong message.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, talking about the great voter participation, you had some really unique events, one of them at the University of Wyoming, and you really got kids engaged.
You know,
young voters, I should say.
We had the first ever Youth Voter Summit, and this is something near and dear to my heart. We in this state, and going back to one of the greatest challenges I believe our state faces, it's in the retention of our youth. And so I have been blessed to have a new understanding and taking part in conversations to find ways to re-engage our youth. And with respect to the voting, you know, by way of background, the last cycle there was only 10.4% of our youth between the ages of 18 and 24 voted.
10.4%?
Yeah, it is abysmal.
That is just terrible.
Unacceptable. And Wyoming ranked in the bottom 5 nationally. I mean, it's not good. And so we formed a roundtable, started asking why is this happening and what can we do about it. It led to this Youth Voter Summit about which you speak. That was an incredible event. It was at the University of Wyoming. We had hundreds of students show up, and then his simulcast around the state. And I can report to you, we just got the numbers last week, that the voter turnout in that age demographic went from 10.4% to 34.8%.
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
That's something to be, and so
that's
it's not quite
progress,
apples to
measurable.
apples because the last cycle was a midterm, this was a presidential. But we have seen a trajectory now that I'm positive is good for Wyoming.
You found out it worked and something to build on.
Is something to build on, along with opening eye-opener now on those issues that are integral and inextricably intertwined with our youth retention. It's opened up an entire new area for me that I'm just extremely passionate about.
You encourage them to vote. You encourage them to care, right?
Yeah, and become involved and participate not only as a citizen, but in becoming the best that they can be. You know, it's a miracle of this country and our founders, his divine providence in those words, you know, that we're endowed by our Creator with these inalienable rights, that among these include life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. This pursuit of happiness, it was contemplated at the time, would include the ability for us, you know, Americans, to pursue our dreams, to pursue our livelihood, to own property and have families and livelihoods. And so it's fascinating, and this is what we must ensure for our youth in Wyoming. They are our future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what a great note to end it on. We're out of time. It was wonderful to chat with you today.
Lori, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We've been visiting with Secretary of State Ed Murray, and you've been watching Charter's Local Edition. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back.